Good evening. Oh, no, hold on a second. 1 second. Hold on. Going back around. Good evening. I'm Clint Sharp. This is Brave Scary Things, and today we're going to talk about fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is not of God. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear, 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 fear. If you say it long enough, it doesn't even sound like a word. But it is a word. And more than that, it's a core part of the human experience. Many things have been written about fear, and it touches our lives in countless ways, and in some it even completely controls it. Fear, if left unchecked, can shut us down and make us feel like it's impossible to function, leaving us paralyzed in our own lives. But it's not all bad. Fear is really just a survival mechanism. It's our body's way of saying, hey, something's not right here. It's literally there to keep us alive. If you're watching for the first time, I'm Clint Sharp, and this is my channel Brave Scary Things, a channel, ironically enough, with a focus on overcoming fear. It's kind of the central point. It's literally why I made the channel, was to overcome my own fears and see if I can make content to help other people overcome theirs. I have a bunch of different types of content that I'm working on. I've got sketches where I'm trying to make funny little videos and sketches for the people to laugh. I have adventure videos where I go out and I try new things, and I go camping, or I want to go skydiving and stuff like that. Like really face my fears type of stuff. I have a series called Brave Scary Things Tries, where I try all new different types of drinks and foods and stuff that I've never tried before, and sort of let you, the people, know what I think of them. And I usually try to give them a rating, but sometimes I completely forget. But this is a new type of segment that I've wanted to do for a while. It's more of like a serious, but fun sit down type of thing, where I talk about topics like bravery, OCD, ADD, depression, in this case fear. And I figured fear is a good first topic for this. Considering the fact that it's Halloween and it's spooky season. Hopefully you're seeing this right now on Halloween day. So if you're watching this, I did it and it worked. Good job, me. You actually did something you said you were going to do for once. I've always struggled with fear and depression in my life, and I just want to make fun content that can maybe help other people deal with their fear and their depression and their struggles. So if this is a little bit rocky, bear with me. It's a new format, and it's also the first time that I'm working off a script, because a lot of times I just sit down and I just wing these things. And I was like, I'm going to try actually writing things down and seeing if I can, make it more organized and not as off the cuff and have it actually make sense. But I'm not doing that right this second. I'm not. No, right this second I'm just talking. Just speaking into the void, into the lenses, staring at it, and it's staring back into me. And before we get going, I want to make it very clear, I am by no means an expert. I am not a therapist. I have been to a lot of therapy in my life, but that does not make me a therapist. If it worked that way, I'd be working as a therapist right now and making much more money than I am working at a large national retail chain. So please just take everything that I say with a grain of salt. I will do my best to give the best advice that I can. But please, I am not a professional. Please consult your own therapist before embarking on any kind of mental health journey. I'm just here to sort of talk about my experiences and what's helped me, and just sort of try to, lift other people up. So, like I said, not a professional, not a therapist. So don't listen to me. Webster's Dictionary defines fear as... I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that thing. I refuse to do that thing. Look, we all know what fear is. We've all experienced it, okay? But I guess if for some reason you haven't, you can take simplepsychology.org's definition of it, which defines fear as a basic emotional response to a perceived threat or danger. It triggers the body's fight or flight response, leading to physiological changes like increased heart rate and adrenaline levels. Woohoo! That's a good definition, and I like it a lot. You get scared, and your sympathetic nervous system releases epinephrine and norepinephrine to get you ready to combat whatever threat might be coming. Like last night, I was walking outside, and I didn't know that there was an owl out there, and what happens? I hear a, ah! ah, and then whoo, whoo, and it's like 5 feet from me, and I thought I was about to die. And I was like, no, you know what? It's okay. It's just an owl, but it's very funny because it's 2 days before Halloween, and that's very scary. But I'm like, no, I'm going to keep taking out the trash. And so I took the trash out, and then what do I see? My father comes right around the corner, right in front of me, and scares the living crap out of me. And I'm like, do you want to die? Because that's how you get murdered. Because I didn't know he was out there. Yeah, fight or flight. I wanted to run away, and then I wanted to fight my father. So, you know, that's fear in a nutshell, really. We didn't fight, by the way. It was fine. Apparently he was like 10 feet ahead of me the whole time, and I had no idea. Good old family dynamics. Outside in the dark with scary owls. But that's the fight or flight response that everybody's always talking about. It either gets you ready to fight a threat or to run from it. So like I said, fear is really just a survival mechanism. And it's actually an inherently good thing. I mean, it literally keeps us alive. The problems start whenever it begins to overwhelm us. When I was a kid, there was this cartoon called Eek the Cat, and for some reason I would have these like waking nightmares when I was like 7 or 8 years old. And there's this weird like sort of transparent Eek the Cat there standing in my room with the light on, and he like kind of looks like the computer graphics of the time, and he's just staring at me, and I'm just backing into a wall, and I'm so afraid I can't even scream. And so I just sort of laid there and cried. So in that instance, I didn't fight or flight. I just became completely overwhelmed, and eventually, as Eek the Cat faded off into the ether of my mind, I was able to scream and cry, and my parents came in and saved me. But, like I said, I got overwhelmed, and nothing good came of it. If Eek the Cat had been real, I would have been dead. I would have been eaten by my own dream nightmare cat. That would have been bad. Also would have been kind of cool, because I mean, if that actually happened in the real world, I mean, that'd be pretty interesting. It's one thing whenever your fear is informing you of a real, actual present danger, but it's another whenever it's actually keeping you from living your life. And I feel like you can cross that line between rational and irrational fear very, very easily. At least I know I do. And since everyone is different, it can be really hard to know where the line is. That's where phobias come into play. A phobia is an extreme or irrational fear or aversion to something, and you can have them about just about anything. Some of the most common ones are like claustrophobia. We all know what that is, you know, fear of tight spaces. Arachnophobia, fear of spiders, which I don't hate spiders. I'm not like super afraid of spiders either. But like the only really ones that I really like are like banana spiders and jumping spiders. Everything else I'm just like, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Although at times I do sometimes have daddy long legs spiders in my bathroom, and they'll be like up in the corner of the shower, and I'm just like, okay, you stay there and I'm gonna stay here and everything's fine. It's just when you're washing your hair and you look up after rinsing out the soap and they're not there anymore, and you're like, where did you go? That wasn't part of the contract. So spiders are okay, just as long as they stay in their corner of my shower, and they don't attack me or sleep in my mouth. You can also have acrophobia, which is fear of extreme heights. I learned the hard way one day that I was afraid of heights when I was 3 stories up on a ladder trying to work on a gutter, and I realized that I couldn't move. I ended up being fine. I didn't fall to my death or anything. I'm not a ghost talking to you. Like everything was okay, but it took a minute to just like one at a time, my movements. You can even have dentophobia, which sounds made up, but it's not. Like, it's just fear of the dentist. Actually, I could totally understand that. That's not made up at all. The name sounds made up, though. I feel like it should have something, you know, like a more intricate sounding name. But yeah, dentophobia. Fear of a dentist, which maybe I might have because my teeth are terrible right now and I'm always afraid of going back. But I feel like that's more of a social anxiety thing, because you know you're going to get in there and then you'll be like, oh, you looks like you haven't been cleaning your teeth. I'm like, I know I could clean a little bit better. If I was cleaning better, I wouldn't be having to come see you in the first place. Dentists stress me out. We both know I haven't been brushing, okay? But I'm trying. Can you just be like, hey man, you're doing better than you did last time. Keep up the good work. And I'll be like, thanks, dentist. And then there's like the weird sort of like phobias that are phobias that I know are legitimately real things, but I don't think they're actually recognized like in a phobia book somewhere. Like I have this thing called submechanophobia, where if I see submerged boats or something like just below the water, I will freak out. Like the hairs on the back of my neck will stand up on end. Or it doesn't even have to be that. It could just be like the drains and pools and stuff. Like it used to scare the crap out of me when I was a kid. I remember one time I went to Cancun on vacation with my mom, and we went snorkeling out, and there was like this airplane that was in a James Bond movie that they sank. And the second that I saw that thing down there below me, I flipped out, and I don't even remember swimming to the shore. I did not stop for a second. And there's actually a whole subreddit of submechanophobia stuff where like people like me go and deliberately look at things that freak us out, like the propellers of the Queen Mary, just to like, I don't know, experience it again and like get a high off of it. I don't know. But it's weird because there's really no reason that a sunken boat just beneath the water, staring at you from the darkness, beckoning you to come inside the water, should freak you out. That shouldn't freak you out at all. I mean, it's just a boat. It can't hurt you. It's not like it's a giant whale or shark or some kind of megalodon or thing from the deep with giant teeth ready to... Let's move on. So the point is that you can have fears and phobias over just about anything. And at times, you know, these things can be crippling to some people. Like some people are too afraid to even leave their own homes. And that's why I feel like, in my own personal experience, whenever your fears are beginning to control you and control your life, it's time for you to flip the script and start controlling them. Now that's easier said than done, way easier said than done. And it's totally okay to go at your own pace. You know, everybody's different and this kind of stuff takes time. Sometimes your fears can be deeply rooted in all sorts of, you know, past trauma and stuff, and it's not easy to deal with. So it may not happen in a day, and that's perfectly fine. It's overcoming your fears it's your own personal journey, and even just taking that first step to overcome them is such a huge accomplishment in and of itself, that just the fact that you're doing that, you know, is something really, really special, and you should just keep pushing forward one day at a time. So I personally think therapy can be very, very helpful. Like I said, I've been to a lot of therapy in my life, and it's something that I really do believe in. I think that finding a good therapist who knows you and understands you, somebody that you trust, a therapist or a counselor, can really, really be super beneficial and help you understand yourself and really uncover the causes and the reasons behind your fears, your anxieties, your depression, your anger, all of it. So if you're struggling with something like that, or if you just need somebody to talk to, I think it's a really, really great idea to go out and find somebody to listen to you and someone you can talk to and help you understand yourself better. Of course, sometimes it's not as simple as just, you know, talking about it and understanding it. Just because you understand why you feel some way or why you're afraid of something doesn't mean that it's going to just go away. I suffer from some really bad obsessive compulsive disorder, and a lot of it has to do with the fear of something bad happening to my family or my loved ones or myself, sickness and illness and disease. A lot of things that I know that I can't control. So it manifests itself in weird ways of like me trying to like, you know, stop bad things from happening to the people that I care about, which sounds really delulu. So no matter how much I try to talk about it or understand it, it's still there. And some days it can be super debilitating and overwhelming. Like I'll wake up and I'll start these like little rituals and things in my head, which again, I know sounds totally weird, and it is weird. I'll be honest, it is weird. You know, and it's like I just want to go back to bed. Like I just want to reset my brain and start over. So I also have horrible social anxiety. So like I'm always worried about what people think about me, or you know, trying to please people and make other people happy. I'm terrified of rejection. Why am I making a YouTube channel? That's such a great idea. Maybe not the best choice, but still I find that it helps to talk to someone else, a therapist or a counselor, or even just someone that you really trust. And if fear has been controlling your life, maybe look into finding a therapist or a counselor to jumpstart the process of overcoming it and taking control of your life back. One way that I have found to overcome my fears that is not particularly pleasant, but it does seem to work for me at least, is exposure therapy. If you don't know what exposure therapy is, it's basically where you expose yourself to the things that you are afraid of. So if you are afraid of spiders, you may handle some spiders. If you're afraid of snakes, same thing. If you're afraid of germs, you might go clean a trash can and then go wash your hands, and you go and you afterwards and you wash your hands and you're like, hey, I'm fine. And then slowly over time, your brain just kind of relearns like, hey, this is okay. So it's sort of like, like the only way out is through kind of approach. Instead of running from it and trying to avoid the thing you're afraid of, you just attack it head on. It's like you face your fears, Luke. You stand up to it. Like, what does it say? They say in Dune, it's like, I will let my fear flow through me, and then after the fear is gone, only I will remain, or something like that. Like, I really should have looked that quote up, but I love that movie. And I still haven't read the book because it's a really big book. I have the book, I just haven't read it, and I probably never will, but I really, really would like to. My therapist had me do some exposure therapy related to germs and stuff, like I said, like handling dirty things and stuff. This was before COVID, and it was pretty helpful, but COVID really, ironically, is what it was just a massive exposure therapy session to me, because when it first started off, I was super, super horrified of everything and every germ, like a lot of people were. It was just taking my fear of germs and stuff to totally new horrifying levels. And then by the end of it, I was vaccinated and boosted, and I had COVID, and I just did not care anymore. There's things that I do nowadays that I would have never done before COVID, like ever. Like I just, like the things that I'll touch and stuff, and just be like, oh, I'll just wash my hands, I'll be fine. So that's just a couple of ways of overcoming your fears. You could talk to a therapist, you could talk to a counselor, you could talk to someone who you know and you trust, and just sort of start to delve deeper into the inner workings of it. And you could also maybe try exposure therapy. But with the exposure therapy, I would only consider doing it with a professional's help. I wouldn't just do it on my own, because you never know how you're going to react to certain things. So definitely do it with a professional. Get professional advice. I am not a professional. This is not professional advice. I'm just, like I said, this is just my own personal experiences. But those are two things that I found very, very helpful for overcoming fears. I know I've been tired of letting my fears control and run my life. It's one of the reasons, like, I wanted to make this YouTube channel, was because, I was afraid of putting myself out there. I was afraid of what people think. And I'm like, you know what? I'll make a YouTube channel about it. I'm just gonna just throw myself into it and just, follow my dreams and do the best that I can. And it just has to be good enough. I find that just throwing myself into the things that I'm afraid of, even though it's absolutely terrifying at first, eventually I get used to it and I can overcome it. My faith in God has also always been really helpful in helping me overcome my fears. It's like, I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. I know that's not for everybody. It's always been really, really helpful to me. So I just want to encourage you out there, don't let your fears control you. Don't let your fears run your life. Push through it and fight it and take control of your life back. Your fears should be there to help you survive and help you navigate through the craziness of this world. It should not be the thing holding you down, keeping you from following your dreams, keeping you from doing the things that you love to do, or being with the people that you love. It's a part of your body's way of helping keep you safe. It should not be the thing keeping you down. So that's my video on fear. I hope that you liked it. I hope that my senseless ramblings helped you in some way to sort of attack the thing that's freaking you out, or that you're scared of and that's holding you down, and go out there and take control of your life back. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do better or do worse, if that's something you want to tell me. Also, please consider subscribing if you like this, and let me know what other topics you'd like to hear me talk about. I hope you all have a happy Halloween, and until next time, keep going out and doing brave, scary things. That kind of rhymed. Woo!